I think all of you might have been tired, but at the same time, you have been served refreshments. So let me, it's a very brief presentation from our side. PK for reliable smart contracts and NFTs. I hope all of you would have heard about the word smart contracts. So basically, I just want to differentiate between the concepts of public key cryptography and public key infrastructure. Both are fundamentally different, actually. I mean, not fundamentally different, both are different. Most of the things that we see, or most of the things that we hear and through the media circles, mostly talk about PKC, not about PKI. So in electronic system, the essential elements for trust are basically the four things: confidentiality, integrity, availability. CIA is what we say. But when we really come into the real world, electronic world, we also look at authenticity, which is also part of the availability thing, and the non-repudiation. So these, at least these factors are very important for trust in electronic systems. So public key cryptography, as we all know from the speakers who have talked from the morning, you know that they are all based on asymmetric key cryptographic algorithms, and they can assure you confidentiality, and but mainly they can assure you only confidentiality. That is a major point. As far as public key infrastructure is concerned, it is a techno-legal ecosystem for assuring trust, which leverages the public key cryptography. So what we can say is PKI is more of an umbrella term, while PKC is basically a subcomponent under the PKI. So that is the thing. So when I say about PKI ecosystem, I told it is not only about technology, it's also about the policies which are going to govern the ecosystem, and there are going to be penalties also if there is lapse in the particular if there is a lapse in following the policy and things like that. So there is some sort of governing structure which is there in the policy. And apart from that, you also have standards which are set by organizations like IETF and other organizations, other global standard development organizations, SDOs, which develop standards for the PK ecosystem. And finally, we also have the application part. So applications basically are the actual actual systems which the end users use. So for example, when you are digitally signing a Microsoft Word document or a Adobe PDF document, it is an end application, end PK enabled applications. And in the case of e-procurement or use cases, it is basically that particular application which is getting used. So PK is a total ecosystem encompassing all of these four components. So what is a smart contract? Generally, let me start with a contract. Contract is basically a binding agreement between parties in space and time. So this space and time is very critical for a binding agreement. Suppose if you want to sell, or if you want to rent out your house, you say that you are going to rent your house which is located in this particular part of the city and for a duration of time. So that is called as a contract. So what do you mean by a smart contract? When the contract is worded in a programming language or in the programming form, it is called as a smart contracts, and it gets executed automatically. And the smart contract is stored in a blockchain. So I would like to simplify or oversimplify blockchain here. Blockchain is nothing but a set of distributed nodes. Nodes means the systems which the nodes may be geographically distributed in multiple locations. The smart contract is actually sitting in those blockchain. Generally, smart contracts are touted to have no central authority. Okay, they are touted to have generally no central authority. So that is how it looks. And then, but whether the smart contracts are legally enforceable or not, there is a question mark. As of today's terms, it's almost impossible to have a legally binding smart contracts. So that is why now the new version of smart contract, which is called a smart legal contract, that is basically legally enforceable smart contracts, are coming into picture. But there is no universal agreement or definition which is existing. So this is the current scenario which is there in the world of smart contracts. So next is about NFTs, that is non-fungible tokens, which most of you might have heard about it. So in this part of the world, most of you might have heard that one of the famous actor Amitabh Bachchan has sold his NFT collection through a auctioning system for more than 7 crores. So, and you might have also heard about a lot of NFT trades which is happening, billions of dollars of trade is happening. So, basically you can see that the NFT, whatever it is for $69 million, this is the entire image which is actually was sold for $69 million. Okay, whatever which I am showing in the screenshot. So now you may be wondering if I am able to copy and use it, what is a great thing which people bought or sold for $69 million? So for that, I'll just come to you. Let me try to make you understand what is NFT. NFT stands for non-fungible token. So when we say non-fungible, basically, let me try to explain what is fungible here. So for example, a 20 rupee note can be replaced by two 10 rupee notes, am I right? So, or I can actually make one 10 rupee note be replaceable with another 10 rupee note, or 20 rupee as two 10 rupee notes. So basically, this is called as the fungibleness. That is, I can replace something. So I can replace a 20 rupee note with two 10 rupee notes. So basically, that is called as replacement ability, the fungible thing. But there are certain things which are basically non-fungible. Say, for example, whatever the Mona Lisa art, which you see in the physical form. So, after the original painting which was drawn by Leonardo da Vinci cannot be replaced by anybody. Maybe I can emulate or copy and paste or similar kind of things, but it does not defeat, it's not going to defeat the original, whatever similar it is going to be. So these are non-fungible things. So what we are going to, the people, meaning in the today's scenario, when we talk about NFTs, what they mean is, they mean a token, basically a digital token, which is nothing but a digital representation of an entity. Okay, digital representation of an entity which is stored on a blockchain. When I say stored on a blockchain, again it is stored as a smart contract on a blockchain. Okay, so the digital representation can represent a physical asset also or a virtual asset also. So this Mona Lisa painting is basically a pixelated thing, so it's a digital virtual asset. But now let us say I can give you an example where let us say that you are owning a house and there are legal documents which show that you are the owner of a house. So what the legal document will tell you is, you can convert that legal document which states the ownership of house into a programming code and make it as a smart contract thing and store it in a blockchain. So now what happens is, this becomes your digitalized token. Okay, this document which actually is converted into a code form and stored as a smart contract in a blockchain network becomes your token, digital token. Okay, so we can call it as a non-fungible token because I cannot replace your house with another house. Okay, so it is become a non-fungible token. So, and when it's stored in a blockchain and it becomes tradable in the NFT network. And when we say non-fungible, is basically unique and non-interchangeable with another. Non-interchangeable with another. So for example, here one Bitcoin is equivalent to another Bitcoin, but one unit of NFT, okay, is never equal to another unit of NFT because NFTs are unique distinguishable items. Okay, so that is the thing. So now the formal definition can be for NFTs unique tokenized representation of digital information that are issued on blockchain. Okay, so each NFT is tied to a unique digital content. Okay, whether it can be your property document or whether it can be a Mona Lisa image or anything, and it is governed by a smart contract. That is, who is owning the NFT and things like that, the value of that particular NFT, etc. The ownership is actually recorded in a blockchain. Okay, so when Amitabh Bachchan was trying to sell the Sholay, the posters, basically it is a smart contract, and the value of it actually, the digital content, that images has been converted into, the poster has been converted into digital image, and that is what has been done. Now, the process of creating NFTs is called minting, and the process of converting a media file into NFT is called as minting. And currently, NFTs are in the areas of arts, collectibles, gamings, etc. More than $2 billion worth US dollars worth of transactions happened only in the period of July to August in 2022. So that shows the amount of NFTs which has been traded in the market. So, so basically, all you need to understand is NFTs are governed by smart contracts. So that is how it happens. So what makes NFT unique. So that is a very important thing. So the most important thing is the digital signature. So for example, you are owning, so for example, what we showed in the previous slides was the Mona Lisa image. So I can also have a copy of the Mona Lisa image and you can also copy of the Mona Lisa image. Now let us say that you have got a Mona Lisa image. Let us say, I'm just saying for argument's sake, if it has been digitally signed by Amitabh Bachchan, then it has a separate value. Okay. So digital signature is what makes NFT unique. There is because otherwise NFTs are representation of components which can be easily replicated in the digital world. So digital signature is the only distinguishing element that can make a digital representation unique from another. Otherwise, it is possible to copy anything. So, for example, in Twitter, Jack Dorsey, the first tweet he sold as an NFT. He compiled as an NFT. So first tweet screenshot, I can also get it from the web. But what makes it unique is, he created NFT by adding a digital signature to the first tweet. So that makes it unique. What are the challenges in the NFT? So that I would like to point out here. Yes, sir.
How is NFT unique? If I have 100 NFT coins,
yes, sir.
How is it unique?
Coins we do not actually consider as.
Token or coin is the same, right?
No, sir. That's why I just was saying. Basically, when I say NFT, it's basically it cannot be replaced with another thing. Say, for example,
Not fungible.
exactly, yes, sir. It's not fungible. So 20 rupee note I can replace with two 10 rupee notes. So that is basically fungible. But this Mona Lisa original image I cannot replace with another Mona Lisa image. But when you digitalize it, I can copy and paste it. But what makes me, let us say that I purchase this, for example, then I get the right to digitally sign it and mint it as an NFT. So that way, my ownership is established. So that makes that particular image unique from another person who is copying and using it. So that makes the digital signature is the only element which makes the NFT unique and distinguishable from another. The challenges is basically anchoring of a digital signature with a trusted root. As of now, whatever the NFTs which are there in sale, basically they do not have a trusted root, like where the root can be trusted even after several years down the lane, which is not there and does not have a legal guarantee. Second important thing is there is no long-term validity of the digital signatures. So you have a digital signatures, let us say 10 years later, how can I verify that particular digital signature, whether the certificate is going to be there or issuer is going to be there? All those things are a challenge. And the recording of NFT in public blockchain network is also a challenge. So what some proposals and solutions are, basically the first thing, anchoring of a digital signature with a trusted root. When you are going with a national trusted root, it makes things better. For example, in countries like India, where we have the controller of certifying authority, CC, as the root in the certificate chain, when digital signatures are derived from the national root, then the item or whatever the NFT item is becoming unique and distinguishable, and it is having a very valid authenticity of the person who has signed it. So that makes having a national trusted root makes digital signatures on NFTs more reliable and trustworthy. Second thing is long-term validity of digital signatures. Currently, that is a big challenge even in the countries where we have national trusted root. So one proposal is that you can have long-term validity with exclusive certificate only issued for NFTs. So this is one thing that can be basically done. And apart from that, while minting NFT, that is basically the process of creating NFT, what we do is we can add some unique impressions or unique factor. The space and time factors also be captured. Like we capture in a real contract, we can try to capture unique factors. Say, for example, let us say that I am going to use this laptop for minting NFT. Then the current timestamp as well as the specification of this laptop can also be embedded to make it unique as one of the feature of this particular NFT, so that it becomes easy, it becomes little distinguishable from other NFTs, even though it may be art form. So recording of NFTs in public blockchain networks, basically that is one of the requirements. Say, for example, today NFTs are being purchased and sold across multiple entities. But the blockchain network where the NFTs are stored as smart contracts has to live forever. So obviously, I'm little bit skeptic about the long-term liveliness of a public blockchain network. So when nodes are operated by different public entities, I'm not saying a centrally governed entity, but multiple public entities which run them as a public utilities, and the nodes are well diversified and globally well diversified and operates as nodes, that becomes easier for recording of NFTs. And also, if these nodes are audited and monitored for best practices, it makes the recording of NFTs in public blockchain network more reliable and trustworthy. So this is just the version of how the future might look like. Metaverse, of course, we all know that is composed of a virtual world where your personas or avatars are going to be there, and NFTs are going to be dealt with in the form of smart contracts. And where we see as a research convergence is, actually there has been the topic of discussion on autonomous agents for years together in the AI world, on the AI research world. So basically these avatars, apart from the visualizations and UI, can become an autonomous agent. So, and they may be trading, creating NFTs, and they may be dealing on trading the NFTs through smart contracts with other similar agents. So this is where we are just extrapolated how the things can go in the future. So this is what our thoughts on having a reliable thing. So challenges and proposed solutions that have been put forward. So summary, basically digital signature is the only key element as of now which brings uniqueness to any NFT. And therefore digital signatures has to be legally valid and therefore verifiable for a long duration of time. More factors of uniqueness can be embedded into the NFT, including device identities used for minting NFTs. And NFTs, obviously, if you are having a real commercial value, if you want to have it and make it as a tradable commodity, obviously, it has to be stored in well-distributed nodes across geographies. So that's the summary point. So thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
One problem I think is that, is there a difference between a NFT and a Bitcoin?
Yes, sir. Sir, Bitcoin is basically a fungible element.
No. Forget about the classic way.
Yes.
Now, if I can break it, forget for a moment it is this one. So that will also be in terms of digital signatures of how many people have given. Okay?
Correct.
If you take from the genesis what have been signed, rest of them are all just signatures.
Signatures, correct.
And though in some sense, if you think asset is the original one, that remains the same.
Correct.
That is exactly the same.
That is an
okay?
Yeah.
But the main problem you said in smart contracts, you have forking.
Yeah.
So now it is no longer unique technically.
Yeah, correct.
And what does that mean?
So
why you are emphasizing on digital tokens? Because digital tokens, your digital signature is one of the fundamental bricks for the blockchain.
Yes.
If you don't have digital signature, nothing works in the same way. The
correct,
assets, whether it is fungible or non-fungible.
Yes, sir.
So why are you insisting on digital signature for NFT? I didn't get it.
Basically, what is happening is, let us say many things, apart from the art form. One example, whatever I given is, say for example, I own a house. The legal document of the house is actually converted into a kind of smart contracts and stored in a blockchain. So now there is a hidden world outside there, which is once it is minted as NFT, it becomes a in a tradable commodity. So I can actually hypothecate my house in this thing, assuming it is in a posh area or whatever it may be. So that is actually happening. In fact, it is not happening even in the real world. It is even happening, actually it is happening in the metaverse. So metaverse, actually people are buying properties and people using and selling through NFTs. So there, the digital signature, assuming I'm not getting into the metaverse as of now, but in the physical world, let us say my own ownership of house is there. I want to hypothecate for something, my house, and then later, maybe after that I came back or I look for the value. So I need to prove the ownership of that particular NFT, meaning the house or the document. So for that, a legally valid digital signature is required. Ultimately, end of the day, it is a smart contract. It is a contract. It is a contract. That is the only reason I said I'm insisting for a legally valid digital signature.
No, in some sense, if if you go for the, say, the land or the house,
Yes, sir.
it's a geographical database,
Yeah.
which could be fungible.
Yeah.
The house can be partitioned,
Yeah.
the land can be partitioned, which has the same signature on which I have to do different kind of a thing or the other. So in some sense, that's how I didn't get your emphasis on digital signature for NFT. That's the
So
only
only
reason.
thing, the only thing is to make it authentic. So, for example, I just showed this Amitabh Bachchan showing, sharing the, selling the Sholay picture auction, or even this one, the right hand side, which is image actually which sold it for $69 million. So, I'm also having the same image. Of course, I can probably get a similar kind of image, but that does not make me the owner of it. The legitimate owner is actually obtained, meaning the legitimate is identified by his digital signature. That is the only reason, the legitimate one. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balaji. Thank you. Third and last paper of this session is Identity of Things, Need and Requirements, to be presented by Ms. Ananya K. Over to you, Ananya.